Bangladesh Center for Communication Programs, BCCP. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr.
Dissemination Conference 2023, and thank you for joining us this morning. I would also like to appreciate the time and effort that you have taken this morning, and especially that Dr. Abdullah Hassan and his team have taken from Indonesian Tobacco Control Research Network for joining this conference. Thank you, Dr. Hassan, once again. Distinguished audience, you may know that Tobacco Control Research Grant Program, now in its 10th year, and is a unique capacity building opportunity for enthusiastic researchers, both the senior researchers and the graduate students, to undertake tobacco control research. First, we identify research priority areas by organizing consultative meetings in coordination with National Tobacco Control Cell, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And then announcement for research proposal is made in the national day, time needed for this. The research grantees are awarded seed grants, and BCCP research team provide methodological mentorship to build capacity. So the total research process, from finalization of research proposals and data collection tools through collecting field data and analyzing data and presenting the findings. The research findings that are revealed each year have important policy implications and contribute immensely to generating local evidence in the country. You will be pleased to know that some of the research studies conducted in the past years have been published in international journals and presented at different national and international conferences. Dear participants, today we are going to share with you the summary findings of the 9 research studies conducted under the grant program in 2 scientific sessions, and also the findings of the 12 tobacco control research studies conducted by other organizations will also be shared, and altogether 21 research findings will be shared today. I congratulate the researchers for their hard work and excellent performance, and I also appreciate the hard work of BCCP research team, which provided technical guidance throughout the research studies. I am thankful to IJTC for their technical and financial support to the program and for supporting Bangladesh Tobacco Control Research Network. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe you will agree with me that with the big presence of tobacco industry interference in Bangladesh, tobacco control program should be a truly collaborative effort of the government, the Bloomberg partners, World Health Organization, many other NGOs and CBOs and leaders and activists to develop and implement coordinated and effective tobacco control strategies and programs in Bangladesh. I am confident that working closely with NTCC, National Tobacco Control Cell, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Planning, partners, stakeholders, leaders and activists in public and private sector, National Tobacco Control Program, NTCP, is expected to be approved soon, and finally we can achieve a tobacco-free Bangladesh by 2040 as declared by our Honorable Prime Minister. Wishing you all the best, and we look forward to a very productive conference, and thank you all.
And Indonesian Tobacco Control Research Network from Indonesia. Mr. Sajahan and colleagues from Bangladesh, we thanks for the invitation, and we also happy to visit Dhaka for the first time. We went here with all the team for researchers from several universities in Indonesia. And Indonesian Tobacco Control Research Network, just like the BTCRN, is pushing the tobacco control policy in Indonesia. As you know, Indonesia is a big country with a big problem dealing with the tobacco industry. So it takes a lot of things. Yeah. It takes all to come together to push for the tobacco control. We thank for the support from the IGTC, Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, with the Joanna commitment to support the Indonesian and also for the Bangladesh. And we hope that we Indonesian can learn from the in Bangladesh research result, so that we can move together. And then maybe for next year we will invite Mr. Sajahan and Shamim and all colleagues from the BTCRN to visit Jakarta or Bali, and for the same dissemination. So I congratulate all for the researcher to disseminate the research. That's all for now. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir, for your thoughtful words.
Enlighten us with her speech.
Great. Shuprabhat, I'm so excited to be here today on behalf of the Institute for the Honorable Chairperson, National Professor Dr. Malik, who we see on the screen, and I was so looking forward to seeing you in person, but I will have to manage with just the, oh, you know, it's okay. But thank you. Yeah, so I'll just have to manage with seeing you on the screen. I was hoping to give you a hug this morning. And I want to welcome all of our distinguished guests today, Chief Guest Professor Madasar Ali, and all our distinguished guests. And welcome to you, everyone, for being here for this important event. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to address you all in person for the first time since 2019. And our bonds have remained strong over the past few years, but there is no substitute for being together in person. I just want to also congratulate the Bangladesh government for its ambitious but achievable vision to make the country smoke-free by 2040. We have all overcome many challenges in recent years, and our collective work to address the global tobacco epidemic can end the world's leading cause of preventable death. And the policies that will be needed to make this happen will be informed by data presented at this conference today. Over the past 10 years, the Bangladesh Tobacco Control Policy Research Network has awarded 114 carefully evaluated research grants. And I'm so pleased that the process of receiving and reviewing and awarding the grants has been rigorous and beyond reproach. And this resulting work is crucial to turning the vision of a tobacco-free Bangladesh into a reality by creating the tobacco control research capacity here in this country. We're covering a lot of important issues today, like tobacco taxation, smoke-free policies, e-cigarette use, tobacco industry interference, and more. And all of these are important to be addressed as we work towards our tobacco-free goal. The findings will show a need for stronger policies and more oversight to ensure that everyone in Bangladesh can live a safer, healthier life. And with 2040 quickly approaching, the work we have before us has greater urgency. We need a strong and sustainable national tobacco control program, including a package of enhanced policy measures to ensure that this critical goal is attained. So I want to say congratulations to all the researchers who are presenting today, our poster presenters, our oral presenters, and all those here who are interested in learning about and using the data that are generated from these projects. I want to give my heartfelt thanks to BCCP, BTCRN for making this event possible, for all of your dedication and hard work to making the grants program a success. You are a wonderful partner, and we're so proud of your vision and all that you have accomplished. So I look forward to being inspired and energized today with all of you. Enjoy the conference. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words.
Team Lead, Non-Communicable Diseases Control and Mental Health, World Health Organization, Bangladesh Office, to say a few words on today's program.
guest Professor Syed Mudassar Ali, special guest Madam Debunisa, Dr. Inamul Haq, Dr. Joanna Cohen, Dr. Isam, Dr. Shahjan, and all the distinguished guests sitting off the dais. First of all, a very big thank you for giving us this opportunity to address this August gathering. Dr. Badan Jangrana, our WHO representative, was supposed to come today, but some last minute commitment, he could not come. He sends his apologies and also best wishes for the conference. First of all, I don't have to preach to the converted because all of you know the ills of tobacco. Tobacco is one of the important risk factors contributing to the premature mortality due to NCDs and is also a social ill. And it is also an important, the tobacco control happens to be a very important factor that will contribute to achieving the SDG 3.4 as well as by itself strengthen in tobacco control. Over the last few decades, we have been seeing a decline as shown by the Global Adult Tobacco Survey. But we are also aware of the new ills that keep cropping up, like the e-cigarettes now, which are considered to be less harmful by many. So I see there is already a paper also talking about the e-cigarettes. So in this context, I think there is need for continuously evolving our evidence that will take forward how actually it's a fantastic initiative, I must say, by the Bangladesh Center for Communication and Policy and programs. Often see this in many other programs, dedicated support for research. Thank you so much, and I would also urge you to expand this to other risk factors also. It would be very useful as we start continuing to see an increase in the non-communicable diseases. I also would like to congratulate the excellent guys in making sure that the vision of a tobacco-free Bangladesh by 2040 is achieved. It is a hard journey, we all know that, but at the same time with everyone, the kind of multi-sectoral coordination and the collaboration that we see in tobacco control, I don't think it's seen in any other risk factor. Thank you so much once again for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your...
And I always pray for his good health because Sir was so active, I think few years back. But now still he is very active, but unfortunately he cannot come with us physically, but we always pray for him that he will be with us, and he is always continuously supporting not only the tobacco control program, overall non-tobacco program. So my gratitude to Sir. Sir is always with us. The next is our chief guest, I should say another legend in Bangladesh health sectors, Professor Syed Mudassar Ali, who was the former advisor to the Honorable Prime Ministers, the Minister of Health and Family Welfare and Social Welfare Affairs. He was looking after the two ministries when he was working with the Prime Ministers in the Prime Minister's office and advisors. But after that, he is continuing support to this health sector program, not as an advisor, but is actively working as a chairperson of the Bangladesh Medical Research Councils and also the chairperson of the Community Clinic Trust. You know, the Community Clinic is one of the most important primary health care program of Bangladesh. So he is the chairperson of that Community Clinic Trust. I know the Professor was very much actively involved with the tobacco control program, and he worked quite hard, more than 10 years with the WHO when this program was developed, particularly FCTC development program. He was the vice chair of subcommittee, and he worked quite hard there. So I congratulate Sir to be over here today. The distinguished guests, I don't want to tell her the formal because he is still with us. I am sure she will contribute. She has quite experience in contributing in the tobacco control program. I am sure she will continue to work on this tobacco control program. After, though she retired yesterday, but this is a phase of one phase is finished, new phase will start from tomorrow on. The Jonah Cohen, the Director, Institute for Global Tobacco Control Program from the Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, he used to support the Bangladesh Tobacco Control Network constantly for the last 10 years. And the support provided by this Institute of Global Tobacco Control Program is a real big support, because there was some sporadic research work going on in the country, but not a comprehensive research work was done on the tobacco control. So this is a good initiative taken by DCCP, that they were doing the research work focusing on the tobacco control for the last 10 years. So possibly 114 research grant has been given, and 114 research outcome has received by the people of Bangladesh and central government. So the evidences came out from this 114 research work will be really great help in making policies and laws and everything. So, and I'm sure these findings should be used properly. Sometimes we do a lot of work, research work, but findings are not used properly. So the findings that is coming from this research work should be used properly. And I'm sure BCCP and BCCTRL will continuously advocate to the ministry. Our role is to advocate to the ministry so that ministry can really work on it. And I'm sure based on all this activity, it is very good. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has already developed a national tobacco control plan, the 5 years national tobacco control plan. Still, it has not started initiated, but I'm sure it will start. I'm sure the Joganesa Madam and the coordinator of the National Tobacco Control will speak up on that national plan. I'm sure the plan is already there, but it needs to be followed. So a lot of research plans should be there and research will be done through this plan. So that plan will be very much important for us. I'm sure that plan will be on board very soon. I'm very happy that Shaduna Vargot, if I'm pronounced rightly, is representing WR, and I have the opportunity to work with the WHO for the last 3 years, but that's an immunizations program, so and that's I'm working with the WHO. Still, I'm working with the WHO on the immunizations program. So that's very good, and I'm very glad to see a very bunch of scientists coming from Indonesia and who are working on the tobacco program, like our BTCRM. I'm an advisor of the BTCRM. So I'm very happy that in the Indonesian Research Control Network is also working with the support from the Johns Hopkins University. But I'm sure we can share exchange our knowledge, exchange our process of doing the research grants, and of course how we are utilizing the research grants properly, that we can share in a couple of days in your presence over there. I didn't have the opportunity to meet you yesterday, but I'm sure we'll meet you tomorrow and we'll discuss this. So that's a great opportunity for us. The Tobacco Control Network, let me tell some few words on the tobacco control situations. BTCRM is working for last 10 years, but that network needs to be promoted, because still that network is, I'm sure it's not promoted, is nationwide. So we should have a nationwide network so that really we can not only the awareness development program, but we can initiate the local groups, local civil society, local NGOs, local others, to come up with this evidence-based research work. So it's not from sitting in the central, we can do everything. So BTCRM should expand it nationwide, and we should work on the nationwide activities of the BTCRM. Bangladesh Medical Research Council is mandated to support the research activity in the health system, healthcare, and BMRC is doing it. But unfortunately, BMRC has some limited resources. It has not that much resources to support it. Still then, I'm the chair of the Research Grant Committee of the BMRC. So being a chair of the Research Grant Committee, when we scrutinize the research applications, if I found something related to the tobacco control, it is always I give the priority to that. And the last 3 years, the BMRC has granted 6 research on the tobacco control, and in the coming year, already the committee has accepted 2 research for the tobacco control. So we are BMRC is also supporting the research control, but BMRC still has the limited resources, so they cannot support quite what they are doing all. We need to work on different aspects of tobacco challenges in our country, and I always tell that the time has come that we start to spell out very loudly that we don't want to control the tobacco, we want to eliminate the tobacco. So we should have a different policy for elimination. Control policy is different, elimination policy is different. Elimination is not easy, but we should start. Maybe after 30 years we can eliminate. But if we cannot start today, we will be talking only controlling. This is too far. Controlling means you are advocating to the users. Control them, not to use. But we are not controlling the producers. We are not telling them do not produce. But if it's eliminations, we have to tell them not to produce. So we need to evidences. We need to evidences from the cultivators who are cultivating tobacco. What is their impact on the who are cultivating tobacco? Who are cultivating, and the children and women living in this area, in this agricultural field of the tobacco. I think we need to see their the status of this land. That really how is developing. We don't have any baseline. So we should work on that, develop the baseline on that. So starting from the cultivations, productions, a lot of research has to be done, of course the users. So this is very important that our law is being amended and the process is going on. And we have a law, but we need a lot of amendment. The Ministry of Health has taken the responsibility to amend it, and from the civil society, we have provided a lot of support for giving this inputs in the law amendment. So there is a commitment from the government. You know, our Honorable Prime Minister, the daughter of the father of the national, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, she has already declared that the Bangladesh will be tobacco free by 2040, possibly 40. So it is our responsibility. It is our responsibility. The honorable leader, honorable Prime Minister has committed that this Bangladesh will be tobacco free. So it is our responsibility to make it really that this tobacco free country, Bangladesh. So that's why I used to tell in some of the programs that we need now that we need to eliminate the tobacco country. So if you really want to have a tobacco-free country, that we must have a strong law. And just before I end, few days back, one of my friends went to Bhutan, and he had some cigarette packet in his pocket, and he was not allowed to enter to the airport. So how strong Bhutan is to eliminate the tobacco from that country. If Bhutan can do it, why not Bangladesh? So I think the time has come to work on it. So thank you very much for inviting me, and of course I should not be invited because I'm now part of this program. So I'm also the part of this program. Just a few months back, I joined as an advisor of the BTCRN through BTCR. So I'll be working with the BCCP and BTCRN in the endeavors of the tobacco control program. So thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful speech. May I now humbly request our honorable special guest,
Respected Chair, National Professor Leader, Retired Abdul Malik Sir, President, National Heart Foundation, a renowned health establishment in Bangladesh, Respected Chief Guest, Professor Dr. Sayyid Nasir Ali, former advisor to the Honorable Prime Minister, Ms. Kazi Jabannesa Begum, former Additional Secretary, Grade 1, Health Services Division. Just one day back, she retired from the post.
Don't remind me.
And Dr. Shadana Bhagwat, Medical Officer, NCD, WHO, and also Syed Mahfuzullah, National Professor, WHO, Dr. Joanna Cohen, Rector, Institute of Global Tobacco Control, Maryland, USA, and former DGSS, Sheikh Moniruজ্জামান Shamul. Dr. Abdullah Hassan, Coordinator, Indonesia Tobacco Control Research Network, and some other guests, dignitaries, and presentee. Assalamu alaikum. As the coordinator of National Tobacco Control Cell, Bangladesh, I must thank the authority to invite me here, and I feel very grateful to be here before the very big audience from also Indonesia and Bangladesh. Research, we need research, and we are going to enjoy a presentation maybe, and that research will create some data, some statistics, which is very much needed to set to cater our goal, to tailor our activities for the future. So we are waiting for the presentation. As the coordinator, I need to say something about the activities of the National Tobacco Control Cell. As you know, the cell NTCC was established in 2007, and onwards it did so many things. And you know, our tobacco control law was proclaimed in 2005, and afterwards in 2015 it was amended. And furthermore, we felt some need to further amendment our law. So we prepared a draft law where so many things will be changed if it will be permitted in Parliament next some days. As you know, e-cigarette is very harmful, and we also proposed in our amendment that e-cigarette will be banned from Bangladesh. So we are waiting for the amendment very eagerly, and we already prepared the NTC, that is National Tobacco Control Programs. It is very coordinated approach. We will coordinate all the ministries, all the departments in Bangladesh, those who are very concerned with the tobacco control. Someone here told that we need to eliminate, not to control. We think it is very difficult to at once eliminate the phenomenon, tobacco phenomenon. So we need to control. By controlling, we can eliminate. Our Honorable Prime Minister told that before 2040, we will eliminate. She used the word eliminate, not control. So our target is to eliminate by controlling phase by phase, one by one. So we need statistics, we need data to set our goal, how we can go to eliminate, to control, to eliminate, whatever may be. So I thank authority once again, invite me here. Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Kazi Jabannesa Begum, former Additional Secretary, World Health Wing, Grade 1.
National Professor Brigadier Dr. Brigadier Abdul Malik, President, National Heart Foundation of Bangladesh and Advisor Bangladesh Tobacco Control Research Network. Chief guest, Professor Dr. Syed Mudassir Ali, Chairperson of Community Clinic Trust. Special guests, especially Dr. Joanna Moon, Director, Institute of Global Tobacco Control, Maryland, USA. Other esteemed guests, colleagues from different NGOs, public-private universities, teachers, students, representatives from development partners, media partners, research grant recipients, and all other persons present here. Assalamu alaikum and very good morning. I am really very pleased to be here today at the Tobacco Control Research Findings Dissemination Conference. Considering the Sustainable Development Goals and the march towards achieving health and well-being of the masses, it is part of the nation's long-term commitment to curb tobacco use and its negative health consequences. I would like to give special thanks to BCCP for inviting me, even knowing that I will be former today, so I will not be in the position where I used to work on all these policies, including tobacco control law revision, NTCP draft preparation, roadmap, all the activities actually which related with the tobacco control. And actually I would like to say elimination. Our final target is to eliminate. But you know, tobacco is such a thing that cannot be eliminated in one night or one day. We need to actually prepare a long roadmap, and then step by step we need to control it and then eliminate it. But I believe in eliminating, and I feel to be honored to be a part of this work, and I will always be there no matter where I am or where I will be. I will always be a part of these activities. This is my commitment. I am pleased to mention here that Her Excellency Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has envisioned to make Bangladesh tobacco free by 2040. We all know that. To this effect, we need to dedicate our efforts in strengthening our implementation of the World Health Organization Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. The tobacco control policies in the FCTC have been proven to produce measurable, significant, and verifiable reduction in tobacco use in every country in which they have been both adopted and effectively implemented. Accordingly, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has enacted the tobacco control law in line with FCTC with specific guidelines, and has recently formulated the policy for utilization of the health development sectors. You will know that by using these health development sectors, we can implement our national tobacco control program. And also we have finalized the draft of NTCP, and I think and I believe that within very short time it will be sent to the Minister of Finance, and after getting the approval from the Minister of Finance, we will have that opportunity to work in a really very good way, including all the partners under this NTCP, and then we can not only program, we can provide the program for that, also we can finance, we can coordinate, we can work together, and after getting this NTCP, there will be a very strong movement, and it will be very visible in everywhere in this country that tobacco control movement is something to really recognize and consider to be a very good step from the government, and also in collaboration with all the people to eliminate tobacco from this country. I understand that the research findings presented today, not yet presented, will be presented, Today cover different important areas including e-cigarettes, use of tobacco and COVID-19, single stick cigarettes, tobacco taxation, use of pesticide in tobacco farming, and all other concerned things. I believe that the research findings will contribute towards amending the tobacco control law amendment. Another important and very laudable step is the formation of Bangladesh Tobacco Control Research Network to promote tobacco control related research by the academic persons and institutions and ensure appropriate dissemination of the research findings among the policy makers, program planners and other stakeholders. Yes, our Dr. Shamoni rightly mentioned that we do have a lot of research and research findings, but we need to actually incorporate all these things in the under policy and to implement it properly. Otherwise, these things will have no work. I believe that the BTCRN website will act as a one-stop virtual center for tobacco control related policies, laws, conference proceedings, research articles, and relevant other information and announcements from home and abroad. I congratulate the grant recipients for their hard work and for presenting the findings which are expected to greatly contribute to our mission of reducing the devastating, actually not only reducing, eliminating, controlling and eliminating devastating consequences on public health and economy in Bangladesh caused by tobacco use. I wish the conference success and hope that these research findings will benefit the research community as well as the policymakers and program planners. I wish a very fruitful event today, and I hope that government will have very important research findings to take with their policy and for the implementation of tobacco control law effectively, so that we can eliminate this curse from this country and make Bangladesh tobacco free within 2040. So we wish Bangladesh will be very, very blessed with your recommendations and research findings. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, Bangladesh Today.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Respected chairperson of today's meeting, my direct teacher, whom I met in 1965 as a medical student in Dhaka Medical College. I am so happy to see him, though in video, but I had great opportunity of working with him physically for many years, because National Institute and Heart Institute was at that time together. Anyway, I have got many stories about him. At the onset of my speech in this month of March, only 3 days ago, the birth of the greatest Bengali of all time, father of the nation, Bangabandhu, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, celebrated on 17th of March. If he was not born, we would not be an independent country, and a person like me would not have the opportunity to speak to you. Well, some of you may be feeling sleepy, but I start my talk in a different angle. In WHO, I have been executive board member for 2 times. So I once suggested that can we calculate in World Health Assembly time how many of the health minister does smoke? That will be a great achievement. The problem is, in AC room we speak, and many of you are a smoker. I can say without any doubt, if you challenge me, I accept your challenge. The problem is, we smoke and we talk about against the smoking. It's a very paradoxical thing. Especially, I am very happy that because I have got personal experience, I tell you, from 96. So I am not going to tell any story. and have got documentary proof of it. I was in Indonesia when I was a professor, and Megawati Sukarnoputri at that time was elected vice president. Then she became president. At that time I had seen that if you go to anybody's house, they offer you a cigarette with clothes. Am I right? And so this is, and they have been repeated here to say about against smoking. So I have to question first, have they been controlled? And for next year, I calculated the 8th most richest person was from Indonesia. He is owner of a cigarette industry. Another country, they talk a very big talk about Brazil. I have been there. If you go to any very remarkable shopping center, you find a small place with water. So initially I thought it must be for some other reasons, it is very good. When you enter into, I have never seen anywhere in the world that you are going to the shopping complex and there is a water. Then somebody told me that they smoke and last thing they put into the water. That's why that I know it. So these two countries I mentioned, they are quite vocal in many of the World Health Organization I have seen. But they themselves what they do. In Nicaragua, I remember we had a very important meeting. I was chairing that meeting. And outside there are many places, they are in favor of smoking industry. And Brazil had the largest place. And people are hesitant to walk to them. So I walked and I told I am chairing this session. They immediately gave me a chair and gave some food. I took it. And I told that why you are paradoxical. And one of them I could recognize. She's a lawyer. She's very good on these issues. Initially I did not know that she's a lawyer. So I tell you, speak one thing in Geneva and another thing here. So how people will accept it. This is the biggest problem. We always emphasize on producer side, but what about consumer side? So long there is a need, there will be somehow the manufacturing will never stop. And unfortunately, many of you, because I have crossed 80 and I have got wide experience in this field in a different perspective, many of you do not know that this anti-tobacco movement is started by tobacco industry itself. The reason is very simple. If you go to any railway station anywhere, you will find beware of pickpocketing. Means when you go there, you see the sign, you immediately put your hand to the sign while your bag is there, money bag. So that who are pickpocketer, they immediately can identify where they have to get the money. The same thing is anti-tobacco. They started it, they also subscribed some money. I have got proof of it. If you want it, I can show you. There is no problem. Because I have worked in different places and I am talking with evidence. I don't talk with evidence without evidence based. My daughter, not like my daughter, I use the term again repeat, my daughter Qazi Zabul Nisa told me commitment because she does it from the heart. Similarly, Ali Hussain Khondokar, he talks from inside and he has got the greatest responsibility now. He is trying for some money to do this research. Before I forget, I shall request you, when you get the money, when you disperse, kindly call the relevant parties who are involved in this research and other things. Then the money will be properly dispersed. In Bangladesh Medical Research Council, probably I am becoming old like the wall of BMRC. I was president of BMRC twice before, 6 years. Then there was a gap. Now I am 12 years again continuously. So as if there is nobody else. In writing I put to Prime Minister that please, I am crossing 80, so there should be new generation. He told, you remain in that position, have everybody new. Yeah, I told that will not solve the problem, but anyway, she told me that till I tell you, you cannot go. Especially during this corona vaccine, that's the biggest problem, crores of rupees are offered, nothing happens. Mr. Ali Hussain and Kazi Jabunisa also knows from side. Jabunisa probably was not directly involved, but as far as I remember, Ali Hussain was there. That I took 771 community health workers, and they did not have to pay a single penny as illegal money. You can do it. It's possible. Problem is self-contradiction, and also at the same time, what you want to really do. With Mr. Shahjahan, once when ME was going to be signed with him, I was very hesitant, I tell you. That's why every time I have to sign with him. Then I find that there are only 3 proper organizations who genuinely does research, and other 2 somehow can be found. So I don't have much choice, and I have to give the best one. So finding no other alternative, I again signed it. Most unwilling, tell you very kindly, that I wanted to sense people. But you very often do not. Tobacco-free initiative today, keeping my teacher as a witness, because when he started in worldwide about tobacco, among the common people, such knowledge was not clear. It was Professor Mali. We started it long time ago, but it slowly went on. Now many people are interested. Some of them are of course interested because there are some money. But there are many committed people also. I have 2009 and 2010 to 2012. That was different subject about our community. In 1987, I was assistant professor. I went to Tromsø University in Norway, that is northernmost university in the world. Northern that there is no university. I went there, and I also find that when you go to restaurant, almost you come out because of this. So when Brooklyn came as DG, I was in the executive board. And I was luckily within few days her Guru, a younger brother. So when she called me in a dinner, it was both herself and me. And I asked that you are my sister. Tell me what is the smoking position of your country. You give a lecture today. She told that, look, when he went, I had calculated I was in the opposition. I told her, still your responsibility does not go. She told, now it is 90% control. That was one of the country which is why almost all of the world, most of the country I've visited and I've got idea. So I shall not take a long time, but because I have got many of my next generation, I want to, as a teacher, I have been 51 years teaching in home and abroad. I have to tell them two things. One is that you try to gain the knowledge from your senior, slightly increase itself, and then transfer it to next generation. You can do the first two things reasonably well, but you fail miserably when it is question of transfer of knowledge to the next generation. There we are not very successful, including myself. So there you have to be very careful that how much you can really train the future generation. Another thing I shall tell that the Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has started Smart Bangladesh, Smart Health, including the Smart Tobacco Free Initiative. Yeah, I am not going in details about how these smart things are, but the relevant thing I must mention that in Tobacco Free Initiative, any movement, is smart society is a must. Unless we have got a smart society, we shall not be successful. So we have to look into that. And another point we must give emphasis, we should not concentrate all our brain and money to the manufacturing side, like making a rule that increase the taxes, people, the number of people smoking will decrease. Yes, it does, but marginal. Can we go on the reverse way? Can we increase through our, especially our media, deserves a special congratulation, because whatever contribution is done, it is 100% done by them to reduce smoking. Smoking is such a thing that you are smoking, say, per day 100 cigarettes, you make it 1 cigarette a day. It is no help. It has to be total, and it has to be now. It does not work that from tomorrow I shall be. It has to be total and now. If we can really fight on that sector, even spending money, we should, in my opinion, to really reducing consumer, the journalist, even at least division-wise should have a part of the money should be reserved for them, and they should be trained properly about the bad effect of it. Though some of them smoke, I know, still it will have an effect, and it will have a great effect on us. We should utilize them properly. I should not take much time, because you know the problem of old age is, once you get a mic, you do not want to give up for the reason that there is no guarantee that I shall be invited again. So thank you very much. Khuda Hafiz. Jai Bangla. Jai Bangladesh.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insightful remarks with us.
Now, I would like to request the chairperson of this session, National Professor, Dr. Brigadier Retired Abdul Malik, President, National Heart Foundation of Bangladesh and Advisor, BTCRN, to deliver his speech. As you have noticed, Sir is with us on live. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Dr. Abdul Malik.
all the that has made it for energy, and I'm sure, inshallah, we'll be able to do this. So what you have to do, if you can increase the production cost and reduce the price, reduce the sales, then you do this price also, and please remember that we again and tell all these people, save our human of this spiritual life, and you teach him, give him challenge, and how to start moving. Once he goes in, you will give him another. I thank you, congratulate, and those research manager, I congratulate them. I am sure they have done a good job, and it will be very fruitful, and we have to continue. We will have to do daily or thank you very much. Again, thank our Professor Mohammed. So that's really nice talk. Thank you very much. And all other people. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We should gain access, and I am sure it will be very useful. And inshallah, we will fulfill our commitment our Prime Minister 2040, philosophy, to reward, to be free from our community, the entire is required. So we should not keep our cancer, diabetes, all these are involved. Also in the beginning, so we have to get rid of this. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
And a short tea break. We will return to our first scientific session at 11:20.
He is on his way, so he will be joining us very soon, and he will be another panelist with us. And we are very glad that both of them are available to make comments on research study. A question and answer session will be for 20 minutes and will be held after the comments from the panelists. Finally, the chair, Dr. Joanna Kuhn, will wrap up the session. Learned audience, I believe, like me, you are all curious in what extent tobacco sins are shown in OTT platform, meaning over-the-top platform. Let us hear the research findings from the study on-screen tobacco use in popular Bangladeshi OTT platform. How does it influence young adults of Bangladesh? So I am requesting Maliha Tabassum, Assistant Professor, Bangladesh University of Professionals, to share her research findings. Ms. Maliha Tabassum, please.
Research, as you have seen here, on-screen tobacco uses in popular Bangladeshi OTT contents. How does it influence young adults of Bangladesh? So I would like to draw your attention to the picture here. You can see a bowl of popcorn, but beside that there is a television remote, right? So this picture actually summarizes the shift that has happened in the entertainment industry, especially after the pandemic. So after the pandemic, people are no longer wanting to go to the theater. They want to sit in their own couch comfortably with their preferred devices. And this is where, I'm sorry, okay, so this is where the rise of OTT has happened. So what is OTT? OTT is some sort of over-the-top platform that actually bypasses any cable or satellite connection. All you need to do is having unlimited connection to your internet and your preferred device, and that's all. So my topic of concern is not the big fishes that we have. We have Netflix, we have Amazon Prime, and many other things. But my, is that okay? No? Okay. So, how the on-screen tobacco scenes are portrayed in our local OTT platforms. So the rationale of the study, so we know that OTT platforms are very accused, in the literature review section we found this part also, that they're accused of portraying on-screen smoking very violently. And this is something very important thing that we are concerned about. And our target population, in the literature review section we have found that the web series and dramas are made for the young adults. According to the policy of Bangladesh, the young adults are the target from 18 to 35. So these young adults are very prone to get influenced with on-screen smoking depictions. So this is where we have worked on. So before going, I'm sorry, I'm a bit sick. I'm sorry. So according to the Amendment Act, if you can see here, so I have marked here, no person shall, I'm repeating, no person shall broadcast, display or describe anything. Specifically, according to the on-screen smoking depiction, no person shall broadcast, display or describe anything related to on-screen smoking. So it is strictly banned, completely banned to do that. But for cinemas, if it has any connection with the narratives, if it has utmost necessity, then you can showcase it. But it is only for cinema, we have to remember. Now, according to the users rule of 2015, you can see here, especially for movies, there are some instructions as known as health warning instructions. We all have seen it, right? So it is some sort of instruction that should be in the middle of the screen. I'm repeating, in the middle of the screen. 1/5 of the screen should be covered, and there should be a specific phrase that has to be used. Dhumpan tamak sebon mrityu ghotaয়. So in English, which is smoking causes death. So this particular phrase should be there. So there are some sort of specific health warning messages and instructions that should be followed. But let's see if the OTT platforms, the OTT contents that we have analyzed, they are following it or not. So first of all, the objective, as we have mentioned before, that we are portraying the on-screen tobacco uses in popular Bangladeshi OTT platforms, and also how does it influence young adults of Bangladesh. This is also one of our research objectives that we try to find. So these are the research questions. So first of all, do they abide by the local tobacco control law or not, the OTT contents? What are the characteristics of the smoking scene, the context we try to find out, the perception of the young adults, and also do they provide any influence, any initiations among the young adults? Do they get influenced, the young adults, whether they are getting influenced with it or not? So the method, we have done cross-sectional study from May to November. So you can see here we have taken Bongo, Chorki and Bioscope. I'm sure all of you have seen any content from them. So from these three, we have taken 15 contents that we have analyzed. So our standard population is the OTT content, and we have done in the second phase, FGD has been done. So we have done 8 FGDs in total. So first of all, the sample part, you can see the chart here on the right side. So we have Chorki, Bioscope, Bongo, Vidi. So we have total 15 contents. From 15 contents, we have 76 units, 34 units, I'm sorry. So as you know that web series and dramas have several other episodes. So we have considered one episode as one evening. So this is how we have taken 74 units, 8 movies, 2 dramas, 5 web series. In FGD section, we have done, as our study population is the young adult, so we have done smoker and non-smoker from the student category and the job holder category. So altogether we have 8 FGDs that we have conducted in this research. So I will not elaborate this part that much. So the first one, content analysis, we have developed a checklist according to the BRIC California guidelines. And for the LGD part, we have another method that we have used to understand the perception and influence of these contents among the animals. Okay, so let's talk about the finding part now. So I will try to elaborate this part a bit. So first of all, the smoking incidents. There are many incidences that we have seen after analyzing all the OTT contents. Now, what is incident? Incident does not mean the explicit showcasing of cigarette. There are some implicit scenes like non-verbal scenes. Also, there are uses of props. There are portrayal of smoking packets, so cigarette packets, etc. So all these things are included in the smoking incidents part. So as you are seeing here, in dramas and web series, we have had 143 smoking incidences. So in 15 contents, we have dramas. So from there, we have from dramas and web series, we have 143 smoking contents, and from movies, I'm sure you have seen all these movies before. So from movies, we have 110 smoking incidences. So in total, we have 253 smoking incidences that we have found. So we have to know this is only 15 contents. So from 15 contents, we have found 253 smoking incidences. So I think that is quite alarming that we have to get worried about. Now, compliance with the law. One thing that is very clear that if the cinema, according to the law and the act of our country, only for the cinema there can be some sort of exceptions. So we can say that for web series and law, they are bound, obliged not to showcase any single on-screen smoking depictions. But we have seen, and I have mentioned earlier, that we have 143 smoking scenes. So that means they are totally violating the law. So 100%, I'm repeating, 100% of the web series and the cinemas are violating the law by portraying on-screen smoking depictions. So you can see some of the pictorial presentation here, and in the next one, in movies. So in movies, if the narration is, if there is utmost necessity, then they can actually showcase on-screen smoking. Now, you can see here, it's a pie chart that showcases that they have health warning instruction, but the health warning instruction have 94.6%. And you can say that that's very impressive that they have health warning instructions, right? But not too much, because the health warning instructions need to follow the guideline. So you can see here, first of all, there should be black background and white letters. How much percentage we can see? 0% have maintained this. And also, you can see here very similar numbers, like providing the exact text message, that is 8%, depiction of the Bengali language, that is 15%. So the exact text message has not been followed, and also the middle of the screen, the text message, it should be in the middle of the screen. So you can see here it's 0%. So 100% violation in the following followed instructions. So this is also a good finding that we have drawn from. So you have seen this movie, right? So you can see that the health message is there, so it's very inappropriate according to the law. This one also very inappropriate, and here we can say, wow, there is no health warning at all. There is a cigarette smoking scene, but no health warning. So characteristics, I will not elaborate this part that much. So we have find active smoking scene. There is a percentage you can see. We have find young men smoking, female smoking is also there. We have find people are smoking in public places. So many movies, in dramas, in web series, there are many things, scenes like that where these things are happening. Now let's talk about the qualitative assessment part. So we have found several categories after doing the thematic analysis. So let's see some of the pictorial representation, right? So first of all, the normalization of smoking scenes. So our favorite Shakib Khan, the #1 superstar, he is actually smoking in a public place. You can see men, women, and children is also there. But it's very normal if someone smokes in a public place. If he is a hero, then there is no question. You can see here Shakib Khan again in another movie glorifying him like he's getting glorified that he's smoking. A villain can get glorified. So this is what another thing where we can see smoking is a medium of stress release and the representation of luxurious lifestyle. You can see on-screen smoking descriptions there. We have found smoking scenes when the protagonist or antagonist is indulging high-risk activities like thief, robbery, raping, or this one, very fast driving, etc. There are other smoking scenes, like smoking is very, very beneficial according to the cinema to boost intellectual ability. And also the representation of food culture is there, and female smoking scenes. And female smoking scene, one thing should be mentioned that it is increasing at a very alarming rate in most of the cinemas and cinemas and other OTT contents. Okay, so last of all, the FGDs that we have done, we have found 3 categories. So first of all, exposure, then the perception, and then the influence. Now, what the FGD participants have said. So we have taken 8 FGDs. Now, what is their saying? The interviewers have responded among the participants. So number one, they have all of them have confessed that they are highly exposed to on-screen smoking scene. The people who are regular consumer of OTT, they say this. They say this whenever they see their favorite star smoke, it is getting influential towards them. They have young adults, they see young adults who smoke on screen, and they see female actors who smoke on screen. So all these things mean that they have high exposure towards smoking. Now, the perception. They didn't say that, oh, I love smoking, or oh, I love seeing someone smoke on screen. But you can see their responses. So they say, it's a cool trend. It's something that is very manly. It is something that we get, that the person gets glorified, etc., etc. So all these things actually showcases a very positive outlook. Yet they didn't confess it directly, but it is something very, very positive. Now the influence part, half of the respondents, almost half of the respondents say they are very influenced. They are very influenced when their favorite star smoke, and half of them say they are uninfluenced. So there is a contradiction that we have found in the FGD, that some say they are influenced, some say they are not. So this part I will be elaborating later. Maybe there are some tendencies that is happening here in case of the influence section. Now the perception part. So you can see several verbatims here. So what we can see here, you can see the board portion. It is a symbol of manliness. It is something that is very cool. And for the female smokers, the female who are modern, they smoke, or the people who are liberated, they smoke. So they didn't say it directly, but yet you can see very, very, very positive perception towards on-screen smoking depiction. Now the influence part, in the influence part, we have seen, as I have said earlier, there is a contradiction. Some say they are very influenced, and some say they are not that much influenced. So you can see some verbatim here. Some people say, yes, I do get influenced, and some people say, no, other person can get influenced, but I don't. Or I used to get influenced, but now I do not get influenced at all. So there is a contradiction here. So we try to explain it with a theory that is called social cognitive theory. So this is a theory by Albert Bandura, where he said that your personal factor can get influenced by environmental factors, and media is one of the environmental factors. So whenever you get repetitive exposure to something, you are bound to get influenced. Now, the same thing can be happening for the smokers who say, or the non-smoker section who say they are not influenced. 2 things can be happening here. Number one, it is societally taboo to accept that, yes, I get influenced by seeing this, or taking smoking as very influential activity. Or in the second part, maybe they are unaware. This is so normalized right now in our culture, in our society, that they are unaware that they get influenced. So this part, we tried to actually theorize it with this theoretical framework. Okay, fine. The last part is a conclusion. So smoking incidents are quite common in our country, in our local OTT contents, I'm sorry. Then there are some sort of contents that has been found, and in dramas, web series, and in movies, there is a total violation of the smoking sin. Last of all, the recommendation, I'll give very, very short, brief idea about it. So number one is proper implementation should be there. We know there are different laws and acts, so the stakeholders should know this, and the censor board should know this. But how many stakeholders are doing? Stakeholders means the producer. directors, and maybe there are common audiences. They should know about the laws, right? We don't know. How much of us used to know about it? We just know. Some of us have newly known it. So the proper implementation should be there. And the term OTT is not mentioned anywhere in the laws or at the acts. So the term OTT should be mentioned. And there is a draft policy, if you have known, that there is a draft policy that has been created by the government to regulate OTT platform. There is no subsection for tobacco control. So we can put that draft policy, the tobacco part, the tobacco controlling part. We can actually suggest to put that part in the draft policy. And of course, in the movies, the utmost necessity, that part should be well defined. And of course, the last one, the final one, that OTT rules and regulations should be widely known to the mass people, to the stakeholders and everywhere, so that we can make this problem kiss the dust from our entertainment industry. So yeah, this is all from us. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
You have already heard that showing smoking scenes are very common in OTT platforms. So I think it should be regulated. And we are urging the government of Bangladesh to take initiative so that the showing tobacco scenes are regulated. And it should be mentioned. It should also be mentioned in our upcoming tobacco control law. Our next presenter will be Mubashir Shah, a postgraduate student of Dhaka University, and he conducted a study on digitalization of tobacco taxation system, prospects and challenges. Let us hear his research findings. May I now request Mubashir Shah to share his research findings.
My study titled Digitalization of Tobacco Taxation System, Prospects and Challenges. Before going to the findings, I would like to show the background, objectives and methods of my study. Price and tax measures are effective means of reducing tobacco consumption according to FCTC Article 6. Evidence shows that a 10% increase in prices will result in a 2 to 8% reduction in tobacco use in low and middle income countries. In Bangladesh, studies showed that 10% increase in the price of cigarettes would reduce overall cigarette consumption by 7.1%. Although the tax rate is higher in Bangladesh, the prices are among the lowest in the world. Tax avoidance and tax evasion is considered a reason for this. An effective tax administration reduces tax evasion and avoidance to ensure that tobacco tax rises result in increased tobacco product prices as well as decreases in tobacco uses. The government of Bangladesh has largely digitalized different aspects of administration, including taxation system. However, the tobacco tax system has not yet caught up with times and still following the traditional method of collecting taxes. For this, the tobacco industry are getting opportunity to evade taxes. Digitalization of tobacco tax system can be a revolutionary initiative to make the tobacco tax system more efficient. The objectives of my study were to identify the current tax evasion in Bangladesh, to identify the challenges for protecting tax evasion through current tax collection system, to identify the prospects and challenges of digitalization of tobacco tax system, and to recommend a digital tax collection model. In this study, as study design, I have followed cross-sectional study design. Qualitative approach was followed. The study population were retailers of tobacco products, NBR officials, tobacco control activists, and tax experts. As data collection method, I have used observation method, IDI, and KI. 30 in-depth interviews were conducted with tobacco retailers along with observation of tobacco products. 10 informant interviews were conducted with NBR officials, tobacco control activists, and tax experts. Data were analyzed with using content analysis and thematic analysis. Ethical approval, both institutional and individual level ethical approval was taken. Institutional ethical approval was taken from Public Health Foundation Bangladesh. Every participant's individual level verbal approval was taken from each participant. Now the findings of the study. Tax evasion for smoking tobacco products occurred through various means such as the absence of tax stamp, use of counterfeit tax stamps, and smuggling of tobacco products. Similarly, for smokeless tobacco products, tax evasion occurred through the absence of tax registration number and illegal manufacture. In addition to these, both smoke and smokeless tobacco products were also prone to tax evasion through illicit trade, selling loose tobacco, fraudulent financial reporting, and secret distribution of tobacco products. Tax evasion was mostly prevalent in tourist places and remote and border areas. Challenges of protecting tax evasion. In Bangladesh, protecting tobacco tax evasion presents several challenges within the current tax system. These challenges include the high demand for tax evaded tobacco products, the misuse of the tax tier system, incorrect financial reporting of the tobacco industry, limited capacity to manually manage the tax system, and physical monitoring to enforce compliance with tax-related provisions. In this regard, one of the experts said there are many companies which cannot be directly called illegal because they took registration in the name of chemical company, but under the cover of chemical companies, they are producing tobacco products like Jorda Gul, and they are supplying in the market. They have a company license but not a tobacco product license. Another tobacco control activist stated tobacco companies follow guerrilla type marketing strategy such as they conduct business in a particular area for a specific time period. When the implementation authority or the NGO workers become active in that area, they shift their business to another area. Now I like to share some initiative taken, digitalization initiative taken by different countries around the world. E-filing is adopted by various countries including Kenya, Macedonia, Montenegro, Nigeria. E-accounting is adopted by Austria, Belgium, Luxembourg and other countries. E-matching is initiated by Brazil, India, New Zealand and other countries. Registration of tobacco farmers are adopted by India, Zambia, UAE and other countries. Digital barcode or digital tax stamps are introduced by America, Uganda, Kenya, Zambia and other countries. Prospects. Now I am going to share the prospects of digital tax system. The potential benefits of implementing these measures can be gleaned from different digital tax systems around the world. These benefits encompasses cost reduction in tax administration, minimization of tax evasion, transparent tax administration, protecting revenue, achieving purpose of imposing tobacco tax, that is increase of retail price, and the development of an efficient system. One of the KIs mentioned, when everyone comes under the tax structure through digital tracking and tracing system, they will have to bring products to the market at declared prices automatically. And bringing them at declared prices, meaning price will increase. So when the price goes up, of course the consumption will reduce, and gradually the reducing the consumption means moving towards our goal. Challenges of digitalizing tax system. Despite the many advantages of digital tax system, several challenges need to be addressed. These includes administrative resistance, a lack of ICT skills and infrastructure, the difficulties associated with registering BD and SLD companies and farmers, and standardizing tobacco packaging. Now I have recommended a digital taxation model based on the best practices around the world. This has 4 phases. Registration includes registration of tobacco farmers, registration of tobacco companies, and registration of tobacco exporter. Validation, providing information of production and selling by farmers, and providing information of buying raw tobacco by tobacco companies and exporters, and this information will be validating later. Tax collection and providing digital barcode, providing information about production of finished product by the tobacco companies, issuing digital barcode based on the information by the authority. Tax collection, supply of tobacco product to the market through digital gateway. No product can go outside without digital barcode that will be valid only after paying taxes, and mass monitoring by mobile app to detect the tax information. Now the conclusion of my findings. Absence of tax stamp and tax registration number, using counterfeit tax stamps, selling loose tobacco, fraudulent financial information, illegal manufacture are the common ways of tax evasion. Limited capacity to manually manage, physical monitoring and corrupt intermediaries are the major challenges for protecting tax evasion. Major features are of the digital model are online registration and validation system, digital tax stamps or QR code, Android app scanner, and a digital database. Challenges include registering farmers and informal tobacco industries, lack of infrastructure, skills, and standard packaging. For initiating, now I like to share the recommendations. Along with the progress towards a digital Bangladesh, a digital tobacco tax administration should be adopted to ensure effective management, revenue protection, and real-time monitoring. Adoption of a digital tobacco tax administration system would impact on retail price by reducing tax evasion and contribute to the actual purpose of imposing tobacco taxation. Further study can be conducted as a pilot considering intervention and non-intervention areas. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Please takes it on back. I believe you all know the tobacco vendor licensing is proposed in the upcoming Tobacco Control Law Amendment to regulate the sale of tobacco products. In order to include the issue in the law amendment, we have to do evidence-based advocacy. Therefore, Minazul Abdin conducted a study, the proposed Tobacco Control Law Amendment exploring the prospects and challenges of implementation of the tobacco vendor licensing in Bangladesh. So I am requesting Minazul Abdin to share his research findings. Please.
I am Mohammad Minhajul Abedin, MSc student, Department of Public Administration, University of Dhaka. My research topic is exploring the prospects and challenges of implementation of vendor licensing in Bangladesh. Now, we are to know about the rationale of the study that focus the prohibition of selling tobacco products near education and healthcare institutions, prohibition of selling tobacco products to minors under the age of 18, implementation of 7 and 8 5-year plan to control tobacco, implementation of penalties for tobacco sales to minor, implementation of Vision Tobacco Free country by 2014, and the last is lack of scientific evidence on how far the tobacco vendor licensing policy is implemented in the local tobacco market. My main research objective is to explore the prospects and challenges of implementation of tobacco vendor licensing in Bangladesh. Under the main objective, I have chosen 3 specific objectives. The first is that to assess the prospect of implementation of tobacco vendor licensing in Bangladesh. The second is to compare the compliance of 3 major conditions: stopping selling tobacco within 100 meters of educational institutions, selling tobacco product to and by minors, and tax at point of sale of tobacco vendor licensing. And the last is to identify the challenges to adopting tobacco vendor licensing in Bangladesh. And now my research methodology. For research design, I have chosen cross-sectional exploratory research design with mixed method approach. And the study population are the tobacco retailers, NGO activists, license officers, national tobacco control sales officials. And the study area, I have chosen 2 study areas. One is implemented area and other is non-implemented area. Under the implemented area, Zinaida of my study area, and Dhaka is under the non-implemented area. The method. For sample size, I have chosen 8 retailers from 2 study area by following the systematic random sampling technique. For data collection method, primary and secondary both data collection method I have followed. Under the primary data collection, I have chosen 2 approaches, quantitative and qualitative. Under the quantitative, survey questionnaire and IDI data collection tools I have used, and under the qualitative, thematic analysis I used. And for the secondary data, I have got information from the GATS reports, books, journal, etc. Methods. For quantitative data, SPSS version 20 was used for the analyzing the quantitative data. For qualitative data, thematic analysis was used to analyze the qualitative data. For ethical approval, Ethical approval was taken from the Institutional Review Board, Public Health Foundation Bangladesh, and the individual written consent was taken from the respondent. Now the main part of my study is finding. Now I am going to present about my finding of the study. Demographic status of my study. Average age of the respondent was 38. Monthly income of the tobacco retailers is 9,343. Average years of selling tobacco is 8 years. Most of the retailers are from the male. I also tried to see the rate of taking incentive from the tobacco company. Only 21% of the retailers from the implemented area receive incentive from the tobacco company, whereas this rate is 41% in non-implement area. Now I would like to present about the compliance of 3 conditions in two-study area. Under the compliance of selling tobacco to or by minors have 3 variables. The first, 89% of the retailers from implemented area know these rules and regulations, but this rate is 52% in non-implemented area. Only 5.8% of the retailers sell tobacco to minors and 4% minor work as seller in implement area. But in non-implement area, the finding is not satisfactory. Under the compliance of rules and regulation of selling tobacco within 100 meters of educational institution and hospital, most of the variables are positive in the implemented area. Most of the retailers from implemented area know and support the rules and regulations. They also think this guideline can help to reduce tobacco consumption in implemented area. But in non-implemented area, most of the retailers have no idea about the rules and regulations. And the last condition is APS at point of sale. In implemented area, the most of the retailers know and follow the rules and regulation according to the study. Now I am going to present chi-square test result of my study to find out the association between the study area and 3 major conditions. I have conducted chi-square test. Findings show that variables under the stopping tobacco to minors have significant relationship with two-study area. Move to the other condition, stopping selling tobacco within 100 meters of educational institution and hospital also have significant relationship with two-study area. And the last is the association between stopping APS at point of sale have also significant relationship with the study area. This test indicates that implement of tobacco vendor licensing have significant impact to reduce tobacco in implemented area. Now moving towards the prospects and prospect of tobacco vendor licensing in Bangladesh. Tobacco vendor licensing is still not implemented on a large scale, particularly in rural areas. But after the implementation of tobacco vendor licensing in Poroshaba like Zineda, the tobacco point of sale has reduced significantly. At the same time, this could create anti-tobacco attitude among the tobacco consumers. A license officer of Zineda Poroshaba said that awareness building campaign and seminars by the collaboration of government and various anti-tobacco NGOs increase the compliance of various tobacco laws like the prohibition of selling tobacco products near educational and healthcare institutions and prohibition of selling tobacco products to minors under the age of 18. Coming to the challenge being faced, we can see that tobacco companies try to give the retailers various support such as financial and mental support and lure the retailers by giving various types of gifts including promotional goods such as t-shirt, display box, signboard, umbrella and mobile phones, and these facilities encourage the retailers to sell more tobacco products in exchange of decorating shops or something like this. One government officials asserted that tobacco products consumers, manufacturers, wholesale dealers and retailers are trying their best to use loopholes of the tobacco control guidelines. Producers give bribes and gifts to administrative officers to act in their favor and give free tobacco products to those who consume tobacco on a regular basis so that the addiction increase and the sales increase. One another finding from the qualitative data explored that incapacity of the local government such as manpower shortage, segregated initiative from the government agencies, and inadequacy of budget in tobacco control initiative have hampered tobacco control activity in Bangladesh. An increasing number of point of sale mainly forces the uncontrolled number of peddlers and hawkers selling tobacco, which hinders the implementation of tobacco licensing policy. We got to know from the conclusion part that TVL was successful in the implemented area because according to the most of the respondents, it has made people aware of and respectful towards other tobacco laws and guidelines. The proper implementation of tobacco vendor licensing can motivate consumers and retailers to follow the other tobacco control laws in the local area that would reduce the consumption of tobacco and will help to build a tobacco-free Bangladesh within 2040. The findings suggested some recommendations which are making the TVL guideline to tobacco control law immediately, active engagement of local government institutions, ensuring fixed allocation of whole budget for local government by NTCC under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, identifying of every point of sale, especially informal sellers, tobacco such as peddlers and hawkers by local government monitoring team. Thank you to all.
That government has proposed tobacco vendor licensing in the upcoming law amendment. So I think this study will immensely contribute to amend the tobacco control law. And thank you, Mirazul Azim, once again for your insightful presentation. Now, Shukti Bala, another postgraduate student of Dhaka University, and she conducted a study on exploring the direct and indirect tobacco advertisement and promotion around the tobacco point of sale in
opportunity to present my research findings in front of you. My research title is Exploring the Direct and Indirect Tobacco Advertisement and Promotion Around the Point of Sales in Urban and Rural Areas of Bangladesh. At first, I would like to describe the background of my study. We all are aware that tobacco consumption is brutally detrimental to our health, and tobacco consumption kills 9 million people globally per year. In Bangladesh, 1.2 million people suffer from tobacco-related illness, while 150,000 people die due to the tobacco consumption. On the other hand, if we look at the consumption, globally 1.3 billion people consume tobacco, while in Bangladesh 46% male, 25.2% female and 39.1% youths consume tobacco. For the enhancement of this consumption, advertisement and promotion, especially at the point of sale, are highly responsible. Several initiatives have also been taken to tackle the issue, like Bangladesh government has intended to eliminate the tobacco consumption by 2040, and Bangladesh also ratified the WHO FCTC in 2004, where the tobacco advertisement and promotion has also called for ban. Along with this, there are tobacco control laws in Bangladesh, and these laws have also banned the advertisement and promotion at the point of sale. However, still there are advertisement and promotion at the point of sale violating these laws. This study intended to tackle the issue, and the objective of my study is to observe the different types of advertisement and promotion around the point of sale in urban and rural, as well as in the highest and lowest tobacco consuming areas of Bangladesh. Along with this, the study compared the extent of different types of tobacco advertisement in these areas. For fulfilling the objectives of the study, cross-sectional study design and quantitative research approach were used. And for collecting the primary data, observational checklist and questionnaire survey were employed. The study area of this study covered two divisions: Mamansingh division, which is the highest tobacco consuming area, and Chattogram division, which is the lowest tobacco consuming areas in Bangladesh. And from each division, both urban and rural areas were taken, and in terms of urban area, city corporation, and in terms of rural area, Upazila were chosen as study area. For collecting data, 400 point of sale are visited using the convenient sampling techniques, and from each division and each areas, means urban and rural areas, 200 point of sale are visited. For analyzing the collected data, SPSS version 25 was used and descriptive statistics are done. In terms of field procedure, the enumerators were trained and the field was visited by the field supervisor. Along with this, for additional evidence, the photographs of the point of sale and advertisement and promotion were taken. Institutional ethical clearance was taken from the Public Health Foundation Bangladesh, and individual ethical clearance was taken and individual consent was taken from the respondents. Now the main part of my study, the results. In this part, I have described the results into 3 parts. At first, I have given an overall scenario of Bangladesh in terms of advertisement and promotion at the point of sales, and then a comparison between the urban and rural areas as well as highest and lowest tobacco consuming areas are given. So the first one is different types of advertisement and promotion currently displayed at the point of sale in Bangladesh. This study explored several types of point of sales, and among them grocery shop was the highest, 42%. Along with this, there are tea stall, 25%, tobacco shop, kiosk, roadside seller and others. These are some of the photographs of the point of sales which were visited during the data collection. In this point of sales, several types of tobacco products are noticed, such as cigarette, which was almost in all the point of sales. Then there are BDs in 45% point of sales. 48% point of sale had smokeless tobacco, but only 0.8% had e-cigarette. In this point of sales, several types of advertisement are also noticed, and the most frequent advertisement was display of tobacco products. Along with this, there are poster with brand name and selling price, sticker with brand name and selling price, tobacco products display near candy, mini signboard, tobacco shop painted in brand color, power wall, and mention of flavor. These are some of the photographs of the advertisements. Along with the advertisements, there are also promotion in this point of sales. About 91% point of sale retailers admitted that they experienced promotional activities like free gifts, which was highest, 38%. Then there are multi-pack discounts, 29%. Along with this, there are free samples, special offers, coupons and lotteries. Now the second concern is types and extent of advertisement and promotion around the point of sale in urban and rural areas of Bangladesh. In terms of advertisement, we can see that both in urban and rural areas, the types of advertisement are quite similar, but the extent varies. And most of the advertisements are higher, sticker with brand name and selling price, and the tobacco shop painted in brand color. However, in terms of promotion, there was not much differences. In rural area, it was 90%, while in urban area, it was 91%. But free gifts, lotteries and coupons were higher in urban area, while multi-pack discounts, free samples and special offers are higher in urban area. These are the comparison between the rural and urban area. Now the comparison will be done between the highest and lowest tobacco consuming area. Like the urban and rural area, the types of advertisement was quite similar in highest and lowest tobacco consuming area, means Moyamensing and Chattogram division. And most surprisingly, in the Moyamensing division, most of the advertisement was higher. Like poster with selling price and brand name, sticker with selling price and brand name, then mini signboard, mention of flavors and power wall. In terms of promotion, the extent found higher in Moyamensing, 95%, which was 87% in Chattogram division. However, the free gifts, coupons and lotteries are higher in Chattogram, but multi-pack discounts, free samples and special offers are higher in Moyamensing division. In the conclusion, I have tried to summarize the study findings. If we summarize, in this study, several types of advertisement and promotion were found, and the types were quite similar in all the areas, but the extent were different. And most of the retailers experienced the promotional activities. Most of the advertisements were higher in rural areas than in urban areas, and in Moimansingh than in Chattogram division. And most surprisingly, point of sale product display was the most frequent and mostly used tobacco advertisements. On the other hand, promotion was higher in Moimansingh and than in Chattogram. In the recommendation, it can be said that direct and indirect advertisement and promotion are not clearly defined in the law. This needs to be incorporated immediately, and Bangladesh should strictly enforce its tobacco advertising and promotion ban at the point of sale. Along with this, till now point of sale product display is allowed in Bangladesh, though the policy drafts have been made addressing this issue. Point of sale product display must be banned comprehensively through the amendment as soon as possible. Thank you everyone. Assalamu alaikum.
Than any other crop. So you like this? You support the statement or not? I would like to hear from you. Tobacco cultivation is profitable than any other crops in Bangladesh. No. You support? No. Okay. So let's see the research findings. Okay. So now I am requesting Mr. Hassan Mahmoud Sami, Associate Professor, Sher Bangla Agriculture
and Tobacco Production in tobacco cultivated area of Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, 40,277 hectares of cultivated land were used for tobacco cultivation in 21 districts the year of 2020 to 21 according to Bangladesh Agricultural Statistics Yearbook. And Bangladesh stands at 14th position in the area of tobacco production, 12th position for production in quantity, and contribute 1.3% of global tobacco production. The graph shows that the scenario of tobacco production in Bangladesh for the last 8 years, the linear line indicates that the production is increasing trend from the year 2040 to 2021. Already said, a common myth, tobacco cultivation is that tobacco cultivation is more profitable than other crops. It is undoubtedly wrong. However, tobacco farming becomes unprofitable when the opportunity cost of unpaid family labor and the cost of their significantly severe illness and medical care are considered. Nevertheless, the availability of unpaid family labor, advanced credit option and buyback guarantee for tobacco and other crops to analyze the profitability and compare other crops to assess the health hazard and related cost to farmers in tobacco cultivated areas. Study design. This study is cross-sectional, both quantitative and qualitative are used. And through a multi-stage cluster sampling technique from Bangladesh, from Bandarban, Kustia, Lalmonirhat and Manikganj district, where methods. Besides, 10 key information interviews were collected with agriculture extension officers, agricultural economists and experts in health, environment and tobacco control using a guideline. Each household had calls interview face-to-face using a semi-structured questionnaire to gather information of households, family members, health hazards and farming. Their quantitative data are analyzed both descriptive and inferential statistical approach. Binary logistic regression model is applied to determine relative risks between non-tobacco and tobacco groups and scientific analysis for qualitative data. Research ethics, institutional ethical clearance was obtained from IBR, Shared Agriculture University Research System. An individual ethical issue of maintenance was considered for the total of 2,080 household members. The individuals are categorized into three groups: children, adult, and older. There is a significant association between age group and tobacco type. The average negative impact of tobacco cultivation, which was hypothetically proven. And the average household size of non-tobacco tobacco growers were around 16% of respondents were seasonally unemployed, and 14.5% of respondents primary occupation is 8% of respondents are current tobacco consumer, and 26.7% tobacco consumer. The average land users for cultivation was 93.7 decibel for. This is the core findings. Considering all the crops in the cultivation year, the benefit cost ratio of non-tobacco growers was higher than their estimated cost ratio for non-tobacco production, explained that if the producer invests and in tobacco returns only 1.04, that means non-tobacco is higher than tobacco. It is a scenario of on-year production. The profitability for Bandarbhan district, where the most profitable crops for Bandarbhan district is high yield variety, invest 1 taka on high yield variety, then return 1.25 taka. In where tobacco return only 1.14 taka. That means Bandarbhan is for Kustia. Another scenario is a similar scenario. Then almond is very profitable crop than tobacco. Another is Lalmonirhat. These two crops are profitable than tobacco. These two crops, one is maize and another is almond. All are the benefit cost ratio is higher than tobacco. Gross return increase 0.25%. Another scenario is Kustia, Lalmonirhat, Manikganj, but different variable has significant we have to find. The health status of the household member. The table shows that 75.7% of household members suffer from tobacco-related sickness, and 78.3% of the respondents lost at least a working day for suffering tobacco-related sickness. The average number of sick days and lost days are 15.8 and 8.2 for non-tobacco growers compared to 17.7 and 9.5 from non-tobacco growers. Theirs are also greater than non-tobacco. Treatment cost of the household members. The average treatment cost for non-tobacco and tobacco growers are about 10,000 and 17. That means about 18,000 respectively. And all individual costs are higher for tobacco growers, shows in this graph. This is another scenario, which are the tobacco-related sickness. These are 18 sickness. We will find about 10 sickness are higher percentage for tobacco related growers. The relative risk of severe level for tobacco and non-tobacco growers also members by determining by logistic regression model. Here we find that the binary regression model results indicate that 10 out of 11 sickness are found to be higher risk for tobacco growers in the severe level compared to non-tobacco growers. And the independent variables of this model is sickness. And the table shows that the severe weakness for tobacco growers is 1.273 times more higher than non-tobacco growers. It is pretty alarming. findings from qualitative data. KI also indicate that health risks of tobacco farming, green tobacco sickness and other issues caused by excessive exposure of pesticide, chemical, tobacco dust and long time hours. That means the environmental effect of tobacco farming explores the KII or the past composition of consumption of water, intensive use of agrochemicals, extensive deforestation and contamination of the air and surface water. Conclusion. Food crop cultivation is more profitable than tobacco cultivation for individual and annual crop production. High yield variety for Bandarban, Amon for Kustia, maize and Amon for Lalmonirhat and maize for Manikganj district are more profitable crops than tobacco. Tobacco cultivation carries the risk of disease burden and environmental hazard. Recommendations. To achieve a tobacco-free country by 2040, tobacco farmers should switch to food crops without significant health hazard that are profitable from a broader perspective. A tobacco cultivation policy is required to control the state of its cultivation and support for alternative crops. Lastly, these three persons who are constantly helped to conduct this research. So I acknowledge to Professor Dr. Ghulam Muhyiddin Farooq, Professor Dr. Abdul Latif, and H.M. Miraj Mahmood, Senior Research Officer, Bangladesh Center for Communication Programs. Thanks to all.
For more clarification, so if you want to know more about the research, you can ask question. While asking question, please mention whom you are directing it to. যাকে আপনারা প্রশ্ন করতে চান তার নামটা আপনারা বলে তারপর প্রশ্ন করবেন। আর you please feel comfortable to use Bangla or English. So now floor is yours. So you can ask question to our researcher. So who will take the chance first? So I see one hand. So Mrs. Banu madam, please.
Thank you, Shamim, for giving me chance happening like this. So I actually wanted to know what percentage you got that you told me that influencing that this OTT platform is influencing our young adults. So what percentage are influencing? You didn't mention or I have missed. So this I want to know first. This is first one.
Okay, let us hear the question first, then we will answer one by one.
Okay. Then the second thing, Dr. Muhammad Minhazul Abidin. Minhazul Abidin? Yes. Okay. So you shared with us that you did systematic random sampling for the tobacco vendor licensing. So do you have the list of this vendor? So this is one question from me because we wanted to know if there is list so that we can utilize it later. So this is one, and another, you also showed some comparative study here. Yes, actually cross-sectional, but comparison is there. As far I know that for the comparison, if you make some comparison, then you need some independent tests for making the significant result, as it is the public place and we are coming to know some significant findings for the future exploration. So actually we are searching for that. So what about your comments regarding that? Okay. And the third one is Shuktibala. This is also saying that I didn't find any significant result. What we want actually from this gathering for the future exploration. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Informative presentations. I have questions to Mr. A.H.M. Mubashir sir. That you mentioned that the price increase of 10% impacts the use of tobacco. As per WHO, that the 10% of the price increase of tobacco reduces the 4 to 8% of consumption. but how you have ensured that the increase of 10% price increase will impact on reducing 7% of use in Bangladesh? Because in case of the last few years price increase, we have noticed that the price increase was about 8 to 10%, almost 0%. So how you have ensured that this price increase will put the impact on the consumption? Thank you.
Thank you, Migundo Tubai.
To Hassan Mohammed Sami sir. In the objective part, the reason behind cultivating the tobacco, you mentioned a term which is buyback guarantee. As we are not more into all these terms, I am just curious to know what does buyback guarantee means, because you just mentioned that whether it's not profitable, but still farmers or cultivators are more attracted to cultivating tobacco for all these points. So what does buyback guarantee actually mean? Can you just explain?
And my question is for Maliha Tabassum. I wonder about what kind of the law in Bangladesh according to putting the hard warning in the movie, in the drama or movie in OTT platform, and who should put it in the movie? Is it the platform or the producer of the movie? And how about the platform like international platform like Netflix? If your movie is also broadcasted in the international platform, how it can be put in the or is there any law to put it in the platform? And how about the Hollywood movie that also broadcasted in the Bangladesh is also have to follow the law to put the warning in the movie? And last, who should monitor and control the movie and the platform to follow the rules? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
To say in Bangla, if you allow me.
Yeah, please.
আমার প্রশ্ন হচ্ছে মুবাশশির সাহা আপনার কাছে। আমরা এখানে দেখেছি যে এক্সিস্টিং যে ট্যাক্স কালেকশন সিস্টেম অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেশন, সেখানে আমাদের অ্যানালগ সিস্টেমের সমস্যা দেখাতে যে আমরা বলেছি যে ইলিসিট ট্রেডের কথা এবং স্মাগলিং এর কথা। আমরা দেখেছি যে ট্যাক্স নিয়ে টোবাকো কোম্পানিগুলো এই কথাগুলো বড় করে বলে যে দাম বাড়ালে বা করা হলে এরকম স্মাগলিং বেড়ে যাবে বা ইলিসিট ট্রেড বাড়বে। আমরা একটা রিসার্চে মানে দেখেছি যেটা প্রফেসর রুমানা হক, এস এম আব্দুল্লাহ এবং নাজমুল হক করেছিলেন একসাথে, নাজমুল হোসেন। তো সেখানে ইলিসিট ট্রেড মানে ইনার ইলিসিট ট্রেড অ্যারাউন্ড 4%, আর ক্রস বর্ডার ইলিসিট ট্রেড ছিল মনে হয় বিলো 2%। সুতরাং আমাদের 5%-এর নিচে হলে সেটাকে শূন্য ধরা হয় এই ক্ষেত্রে। সুতরাং আমরা যদি এই ধরনের মানে ইলিসিট ট্রেডকে সামনে এনে বড় করে বলি, তাহলে সেটা কোম্পানির ভাষায় কথা বলা হয়ে যায় কিনা সেটি একটু বিবেচনার দাবি রইল। এখানে আরো কিছু প্রশ্ন ছিল আমার, যেমন আমি এখানে আপনি এক্সিস্টিং ট্যাক্স কালেকশন সিস্টেম, কিভাবে ট্যাক্স কালেক্টেড হয়, কিভাবে স্ট্যাম্পগুলো কোম্পানি কালেক্ট করে বা কোম্পানিগুলো যেহেতু এখানে বিশদ বর্ণনা নাই, আপনার রিসার্চে হয়তো আছে কিনা সেটা বর্ণনা করবেন কিনা, বা যদি আমরা ডিজিটালাইজ সিস্টেম করি। আমি দেখেছি আপনি উদাহরণ দেওয়ার সময় যে দেশগুলোর উদাহরণ দিয়েছে আমাদের নেইবারিং কান্ট্রি নেই, কিন্তু আমার জানার মতে আমাদের নেইবারিং কান্ট্রির মধ্যেও এমন কান্ট্রি আছে, দেশ আছে, এই সাউথ এশিয়াতেই দেশ আছে যারা ডিজিটালাইজ সিস্টেম ব্যবহার করছে। সেই উদাহরণগুলো আসলে হয়তো ভালো হতো। আমার পরবর্তী প্রশ্ন হচ্ছে কাল্টিভেশন নিয়ে যে এটা দেখেছি এখানে একজন রিসার্চার ছিলেন, খুব চমৎকার আপনার এটা ছিল। আমরাও এটা আমার অভিজ্ঞতা যেটা হচ্ছে এটা তো আছে যে আপনি শুধু দুটো বিষয় দেখিয়েছেন, যে সরাসরি চাষের খরচ এবং হাউস হোল্ড আনপেইড যে লেবারটা সেটাকে। এর পাশাপাশি আপনি আরো একটা গ্রেটার এয়ার ভবিষ্যতে পরিকল্পনা করেন কিনা, কিন্তু আরো কিছু বিষয় আছে যে তামাক চাষের সাথে জড়িত, যে বিষয়গুলোকে ঠিক ইকোনমিক মানে টাকায় ট্রান্সফার করা সম্ভব। যেমন শিশু পুষ্টি, যে এলাকায় তামাক চাষ হয় সেই এলাকায় হাঁস মুরগি গরু ছাগলের পরিমাণ কম, কেননা ওই পাতা তো কিছুতে খায় না, বরং গোখাদ্য ব্যবহার করা হয় কিউরিং এর কাজে। তো সুতরাং ডিম পাচ্ছে না, দুধ পাচ্ছে না শিশুরা, অপুষ্টিতে ভুগছে। তামাক এর কাজে সবাই, পরিবারের সবাই, শিশুরা সহ যুক্ত হয়ে যাওয়ার কারণে শিশুদের স্কুলে যাওয়ার হার কমে যায়। এই উর্বরতার আছে, এগুলো তো আছে। এই সব এগুলোকেও যুক্ত করে নিয়ে ভবিষ্যতে আরেকটু বড় করে পরিকল্পনা আছে কিনা, তাহলে আমরা হয়তো তামাককে চাষকে আরো বড় লস হিসেবে দেখাতে পারবো। ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you, Hilal bhai.
I actually forgot the initial ones, sorry, but you have asked about the Hollywood movies, that what about the Hollywood movies that are broadcasted here? So we have a very we have that provision in our law that anything that is broadcasted here, even if it is made outside, like outside of our country, they are bound to maintain the instructions that has been mentioned in the acts and laws in our country. So in case of international movies, that's the same. And the question of yours, who controls all these things, monitors all those things. So the acts and the lawmakers, the policymakers, they see this. The censor board is also responsible. Like we can make them accountable as well to actually understand the policies that we have regarding the tobacco control. And the producers and directors, they have to know the laws. They have to know the rules very distinctively. That's where we have actually put our concerns in. So we all have to work together to actually control this sort of on-screen and smoking devices. Sorry, I forgot other questions. If you can recall also.
Perception and influence section that is fully quantitative. So it was not, we didn't find any discrete percentage for that. So the quantitative assessment is only based on the checklist part, where we have actually done content analysis. And the influence part, we had the FGD section, and we have done. Thank you.
Question from Mr. Boito. You have mentioned how I have ensured the 10% increase in cigarette prices will reduce consumption by 7% in Bangladesh. It was not actually my findings. I have taken from secondary literature. The second question was if I have mentioned the present tax collection system in my report. Yes, it was in my report, but due to time constraint and some limitation, I could not mention or show in this conference. And I have mentioned neighboring countries' evidence also, but I did not mention many other countries, only India. And I have the full list in my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we আমি হচ্ছে ইমপ্লিমেন্টেড এরিয়া, নন ইমপ্লিমেন্টেড এরিয়া ছিল আমার। তো আমি ঝিনাইদহতে হচ্ছে যখন গিয়েছি, তখন আগে থেকে আমি লিস্ট কালেক্ট করে গিয়েছি, কারণ ওইখানে তো আমি এই লিস্টটা নিয়েছি হচ্ছে লাইসেন্স অফিসার, যে ওই ঝিনাইদহ পৌরসভার যে লাইসেন্স অফিসার, ওনার কাছ থেকে আমি লাইসেন্স যে লিস্টটা এটা আমি নিয়েছি। তো এই জন্য আমি এখানে র্যান্ডম স্যাম্পলিং টেকনিক ইউজ করছি। ঢাকাতে হচ্ছে আমি ওয়ার্ড ওয়াইজ দিয়েছি। তো আমি হচ্ছে প্রত্যেকটা ওয়ার্ড ওয়াইজ ভাগ করেছি যে এই ওয়ার্ডে কয়টা দোকান থাকতে পারে, সেইভাবে আমি পুরো ঢাকাকে কভার করছি। এই জন্য আমি এটাকে র্যান্ডম স্যাম্পলিং হিসেবে আমি এখানে
differences in terms of types and nature of advertisement and promotion in different areas, and in different contexts like social, economic, culture, there are differences in terms of the advertisement and promotion. And for different interest groups, there are also the differences. So I thought that what happens in our country, whether the same thing happens. So I tried to explore the urban area and rural area, and as well as highest and lowest tobacco consuming area for exploring the types and extent of advertising.
Only 2 questions in my part. I have well prepared for a huge number of questions. Okay, the last question I answered first. স্যার বলেছিলেন যে আসলে আমি মানে কেন আরো ইকোনমিক কস্টগুলো কেন অ্যাড করি নাই। স্যার ওটা উত্তর দিয়ে দিয়েছেন। যে আসলে এখানে রিসার্চের দুইটা লিমিটেশন ছিল, মানে আছে, যেটা হচ্ছে টাইম আর একটা হচ্ছে রিসোর্স আর একটা হচ্ছে বাজেট। এই তিনটা থাকলে ইকোনমিক কস্ট অবশ্যই অ্যাড করা যাবে। হ্যাঁ, আর আমারটা যেহেতু দুটো স্পেসিফিক সেক্টর ছিল, একটা হচ্ছে প্রফিটেবিলিটি আর একটা হচ্ছে হেলথ হ্যাজার্ড। তো একটা জিনিস আমি বলতে চাই যে আসলে হেলথ হ্যাজার্ডের মধ্যে আমরা তিনটা লেভেলের সিকনেস নিয়েছিলাম, মাইল্ড, মডারেট, সিভিয়ার। এগুলো বেশি অ্যালার্মিং, মানে কেউ মানে চাষ না করেও সে এফেক্টেড হচ্ছে। তাতে এইগুলো একটু ভাবার বিষয় আছে, আমাদের পুলিশ মেকার যারা আছে যদি একটু ভাবেন তাহলে বিষয়টা আরো সুন্দর হয়। ওকে, the first question is asked on Madam, buyback guarantee. It is nothing, it is like a policy for continue the farm.
They pay the farmers before cultivating the tobacco, like this something?
No. They are bound to buy to sell their product to this company. Otherwise, no one brought their products. So the company also are guaranteed to buy this product. Is it okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Research finding will help us sustain that process. So, and one thing, particularly one research I found it very interesting, because recently we are talking about potent smoking. I was really thinking whether potent smoking occurring in Bangladesh. I mean, whether there are evidence of that. So the research from Maliha Tabasu actually clearly showed that if people see some celebrities smoking, the desire for smoking comes, and those who are trying to quit, that's difficult for them to quit. So that's the kind of potent smoking. Thank you for bringing up this information. And some other studies like point of sale, that's also interesting. They have clearly shown that point of sale advertisement is going on, and we are trying to ban this point of sale advertisement or display in the point of sale. That will also help us in law amendment process. And other researches related to the tax and other things will be helpful in the formulation of tax reform policy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was in brief. So finally, we will hear from another panelist. We have with us Dr. Syed Mahfuzul Haq, National Professional Officer. Please provide your remarks. Thank you.
Brief as possible. Anyway, am I audible? Yes, from the back. Because before that, this program, Shona, we are doing it for the last 10 years. You must have noticed that the quality of research. Just now I was sharing with Swellby. We are also, I personally, Swellby, we are with this thing for last 10 years. We are so how should I be proud, happy that the quality is going up and up and up and up. This is fantastic. So credit goes to everybody. Congratulations, everybody. Congratulations. Secondly, this one, problem is that this kahinir prayojone, you would agree, kahinir prayojone, utmost necessary. It is an objective thing, absolutely objective. What is necessary and what is not necessary in a movie to make the story more acceptable, it is an objective thing. It is a subjective thing. I'm very sorry. It is a subjective thing. So transforming something to subjective to an objective itself is a challenge. So there comes a problem in enforcement, because the filmmaker will say it is very important that in this scene this person needs to smoke. It is very important. And the regulator will say, no, it is not important. And how do you decide? So this is a challenge, and that's why in the amendment it is being said that it's totally banned. I don't know whether it will happen or not, but that's the argument. One. We know also that this health warning is ignored, and it was known, but thank you very much for putting this in numbers and to have and to document it, because then with the document, for example, as well as I said, the amendment proposal is going on. With the document, we can argue with the policymakers that okay, this has been requested, this is the evidence, so please go ahead with it. And one thing is that we need. Thank you very much for doing it for OTT. I understand your study was limited to OTT, but we have to go beyond that because violation is happening everywhere in the movies, in the television. Mr. Digitalization of the taxation by Mr. Shah. And actually for the cigarettes, it is doable for, as we know, to make a long story short, for the SLT and BD, as we know, it's a major informal sector and it is really very challenging. That's one. And it was a qualitative study, right? Am I correct? I was just wondering whether we could have some quantitative data also. Also, if I go to policymaker and if I can say that if you digitalize your system, you will be earning this much amount of additional revenue. That would, then the policymaker would get more interested. Okay, I have this system. If I can transform this much additional revenue I'll get, or this much benefit I'll get in numbers. That usually makes policymakers more interested. There was one question from the floor that okay, the price has been gone up, but the revenue has not increased, something like that. What question was there? Again, to answer that it would take long, but just to make again a long story short. In Bangladesh, as you know, there are 4 tiers. Currently, the bulk, Shushanto, please correct me if I am wrong, the bulk comes from the lowest tier, right? Do you know how much price increase was done in last budget in the lowest tier? Any idea? In the lowest tier where the bulk of the tobacco is being sold, how much increase was made? 1 taka. Only 1 taka. So, here is this bulk, you increase 1 taka, here is this much, in the highest tier, and use 5 taka. How can you expect, the revenue to increase or to consumption to go down? Again, it's a big calculation. Maybe some other time we can discuss it. But basic the point is that it's a myth. Price has been increased. And again, there are issues of real price and nominal price and etc. Maybe we will discuss it sometime. You tried to say that the area where licensing has been implemented, the compliance is better. Am I correct? In upstate, that's the fundamental thing. Okay. If we can, great, if we can show that we can expand it to the rest of the country. One question, the place where you went, where the licensing has been implemented, ওখানে কি licensing ছাড়া বিক্রি হয় না? You get my question? Not everybody was, those who were selling tobacco products were having license.
ওইখানে লাইসেন্স ছাড়া বিক্রি হয়, কিন্তু ওইখানে হচ্ছে পৌরসভা যেটা শুধুমাত্র ঝিনাইদহ, মাগুরা আর কয়েক 4টা জেলাতে ইমপ্লিমেন্ট হয়েছে। সেখানে শুধু পৌরসভা যেগুলো আছে, যেটা ওই পৌরসভার আওতাভুক্ত, সেখানে বিক্রি করতে গেলে কিছু দোকানে ট্রেড লাইসেন্সের পাশাপাশি টোবাকো ভেন্ডর লাইসেন্স
it has been implemented.
জি জি।
People who are selling tobacco have to have a license. License ছাড়া কি কেউ বিক্রি করছিলই না?
হ্যাঁ করে, কিন্তু আমি শুধু
that is to be kept in mind while we are making a conclusion. আরেকটা হচ্ছে যে আমাদের হলো advertisement and promotion. Just one question. Was the GPS tagging done? যখন আপনারা গিয়েছেন, did you do GPS tagging of
দেখা গেছে যে একই, বিশেষ করে শহরের দিকে একই ধরনের পয়েন্ট অফ সেল গুলো বেশি ছিল।
নাকি আপনারা যেখান থেকে ডেটা নিয়েছেন সেখানে GPS ট্যাগিং করেছেন কিনা?
না না
একটু স্টেইন করে নেই, ওকে ইটস ওকে। আর একটা হচ্ছে যে ই সিগারেট 0.8% আপনারা ই সিগারেট পেয়েছেন, এটা কি শহরে না গ্রামে?
স্যার এটা গ্রামে ছিল।
I mean, this is a very surprising. I was আরেকটু বলবেন যে
ইয়েস স্যার, এটা হচ্ছে ময়মনসিংহ এ ছিল। ও ময়মনসিংহে হচ্ছে আমি হরিরামপুরে গিয়েছিলাম, ওখানে এই সিগারেটটা পাওয়া গিয়েছে।
in a rural area.
Yes, sir.
I mean, this surprised me deeply because I mean, we were expecting that e-cigarette will be available in the city, but the report is saying that e-cigarette was found in a rural area, which is surprising. It can be explained in many ways. I mean, someone came from the abroad and just brought an e-cigarette and it was displayed and everyone fascinated. It's a fantastic thing to look at. So, I mean, probably that has happened, but it is interesting. And the last one is about this cultivation. I mean, I don't know how to put it. Who is the best economist? Who is the best, what is it called? Agriculture economist. Who is the best in the world? Any response from the, sorry? No. From the audience. Who is the best? Exactly. The farmer is the best economist, best, what is it called, this agricultural economist. He or she knows the best. Period. A similar kind of study was done by Dhaka University 3-4 years ago. It was an even broad-based study that has been published in peer-reviewed journal, and it was a multi-country study, and I'll share the finding with you. Almost similar thing. This is the profitability, and then you add the health cost, and you add the environmental cost, and you what happens. Yeah, fine. So, a very tobacco is less affordable than cultivating, say, this number one. At least I deeply believe, and with my experience, I would say that the farmer is the best economist. He knows very well what he is doing, number one. Number two, there are multiple variables based on which this decision is being made. So thank you very much for bringing a part of it, but here the story doesn't end. And so there are many other things which, based on which the decision is taken. Maybe some other day we can have a day-long seminar on this because it is so complex. Just to end, I mean, only two more things. One is buyback guarantee. There was a question for buyback guarantee. Somewhere from here, buyback guarantee, what is the buyback guarantee? Yeah, it's like that where the tobacco is cultivated, Rampur, or even you go to Bandarbhan, you go to Manikganj. Firstly, at the beginning of the season, the industry goes there. They have these block supervisors and okay. They carry with them a card, usually yellow card. There, they have an agreement with the particular farmer that okay, I will give you this much advance. I will give you seed, I will give you fertilizer, I will give you pesticide, and I will give you technology. You will produce tobacco. I guarantee you that I will buy back, say, 1,000 kg, 5,000 kg, or 7,000, 10,000, whatever. I guarantee you I will buy back 10,000 kg of tobacco from you. Number one. When the season ends, the person goes there with the card, they buy that amount of tobacco. Number two, so this is the buyback guarantee. Advantage of the farmer is that this farmer is producing tobacco, right? This farmer is producing potato, right? Now, this farmer knows that at the end of the day, it is guaranteed that his or her product will be sold. No tension. This potato farmer doesn't know. We know the story from the newspapers. We have seen how the tomato has been thrown on the streets and the farmers were crying like anything because they could not sell. Potato, we have seen 2-3 years ago, they grew huge amount of tobacco, could not sell, they were crying. So there comes, the wisdom of the farmer itself, they know. So this is the buyback guarantee the industry used to make sure that the amount of tobacco that they want in the next year, they will get. One. Two, very interesting, if you go there, they will not buy more. If they have an agreement with the farmer, they will only buy that amount because they don't want to buy more because that would create a problem. They have a chart. Number two. Number three, the catch is that, okay, I have an agreement with the farmer. I'll say I'll buy it, but your quality there are gradings, you know, the tobacco, when they go to the farmer, when they buy, they have gradings, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, etc. Grade 1 say 100 taka, 80 taka, 60 taka, 40 taka. The game that the industry plays that when they go to the farmer, I have been to the field, you know, we spent days together in the field to understand the depth of it. Then they would say, okay, yeah, you have this 100 kg, but these are not that good quality. Okay, so I told you that I'll buy it for 100 taka, but this is not the good quality. This is, and he's this supervisor is the final authority. Okay, and then they would buy a good quality tobacco at a lower price, and they would deprive the farmer. This is the general story, but it has got multiple other aspects. Someday we will discuss it. Thank you very much. Only one submission to all the researchers. Let us try to publish it in peer-reviewed journals, because unless it is in the journal, people cannot refer. And unless people cannot refer, you know, the wisdom, collective wisdom is not there. Thank you very much. And Shamim, I am so sorry. And my apologies.
You know, we have faculty, we have students, and everyone did such a super job. The presentations were fantastic, and I'd like to echo Dr. Chowdhury's comment that the topics too are like front and center, super important. Taps at the point of sale, we've got the vendor licensing and cultivation. I mean, these are the most important topics we can talk about in tobacco control and elimination, so just really super job. I also want to thank Dr. Mafisoul for his comprehensive remarks. I have to call you professor now, because they're tremendous remarks, but you're also teaching us all, so thank you for that. And any instructions? Enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ultimately, price is all actually the price. Lower 78 in dollar and dollar. 70 cents. And that is 2019. Here, so meat based on type of cigarette, not only type and price. Yeah, we have a tag machine, tobacco, clove.
Categories, and every month we publish one report. But we take the main thing where we find it, and try to
asking questions. Do you know? Like, did you notice?
And more than 2,000 million entities found around. After my research presentation, they were
and they investigated and they found the anomalies. I shared the video with some of the and one person and here's the licensing we just registered it. It is the local government guideline, and we are introducing it, and we are just implementing this licensing initiatives, and so that the law enforcement agencies or the task force, they can monitor, they can conduct their mobile courts here. This is the start, but obligations to society as well as
soil showed that agricultural tobacco England except infirmary and soil of the non-tobacco Englands presented medium to high nitrogen percentage. This is the categorical based on secondary data. That means only one sample more than 50 ppm and almost all samples are more less than 50 ppm. That means not less. But overall tobacco England values were like 66 and 47 respectively. Now potassium, based on the current consumption, I am just sharing shortly the potassium content in tobacco and non-tobacco England. Here also tobacco England always got like phosphorus and nitrogen, similar result and samples. And most of the proposals actually two cover. So the tobacco and non-tobacco England, the results the estimate parameters significantly different as well. Now I am sharing also another analysis of soil overall metals. We studied arsenic, iron, cadmium, nickel, copper, and arsenic, cadmium, nickel, copper concentration were higher than in tobacco growing soil and significantly different than the non-tobacco growing England and non-tobacco England. And based on the farmers and executive data, I am